Hello, and thank you for watching this September 21st weather update, brought to you by Agrible, the makers of Morning Farm Report. My name is Eric Snodgrass, and I am a senior atmospheric scientist and co-founder of Agrible. For a large percentage of the Corn Belt, August brought a steady dry down, and as harvest is now upon us, we need to watch precipitation in September closely. The map shown here is the last 7 days of observed precipitation. The areas colored in yellow indicate regions that received more than 2 inches of rain last week. For many in these areas, corn moisture levels are near 20% or lower, but these rains have kept many out of their fields, Thursday through Sunday. What's more is the rain is keeping us out of the fields to start the week too. Here's a look at one of Agrible's products called Tractor Time. Tractor Time is a part of our logistical planning products and helps producers know the conditions across all of their fields to determine workability for a given day. In this calendar view, we can see how this field in central Illinois has been categorized as no operations since last Thursday. This week, the farmer in this field will need to be conscious of the nearly saturated soils, as medium operations are suggested through the end of the week. Thankfully, drier weather is forecast for this region and much of the Corn Belt in the coming days. If you're interested in using Tractor Time, we are giving away free trials of this product for a year. Well, adding to the excessive rain of last week was some severe weather, especially in parts of Iowa, Illinois, Nebraska, and Kansas. As the storms fired up on Thursday night in eastern Iowa and northern Illinois, wind gusts over 60 miles per hour and small hail were reported, as we can see in the top image. Some of the hail reported in Scott County, Iowa was golf ball sized, but thankfully the hail swaths were not large. In terms of wind's impact on the crops, most of the damage was done above the ear for the corn crop. Well, Saturday brought active severe weather again to parts of the Corn Belt, with Indiana receiving several reports, while Nebraska and Kansas saw more hail and weak tornadoes. Check out this image of the baseball-sized hail from Trumbull, Nebraska over the weekend. This is just a reminder that September is a month capable of bringing significant severe weather. For the storms in Illinois, the lightning show was impressive to say the least. The storms that came through on Friday night contained over 12,000 strikes per hour. One of my students, Isaiah Heath, took this picture in Champaign, Illinois. There was a lot of deadly cloud-to-ground lightning that night. So now that we've recapped the weather over the last few days, let's look at how the temperatures will evolve this week. Animating here are the surface air temperatures through next weekend. Notice how warm air remains in place across the central United States for yet another week. Overnight low temperatures do dip into the 40s in the northern parts of the Corn Belt, but stay well above freezing. It looks as though September will pass without a significant cold air outbreak in the Central Plains and Midwest. Most areas that on average have a late September frost will have to wait till October for the cooler weather to arrive. Given the late bean plant, this is a great forecast. This image shows the Climate Prediction Center's temperature probability forecast for days 8 through 14. Again, we see that the start of next week is forecast to remain warmer than average for all but the Pacific Northwest. Well, this animation shows this week's major weather systems and maps out forecast precipitation intensity. We can see that most of the Corn Belt gets a chance to dry out this week. Precipitation does move into Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin on Tuesday night, but most regions will receive less than an inch of rain, with a few localized spots receiving a little bit more. We can see, however, that the East Coast starts off the week wet, while the southwestern United States gets another round of rain as the remnants of Tropical Depression 16 push through the Baja of California and into Southern California. Just like last week, these rains are welcome as the state tries to emerge from one of the worst droughts in California history. Thankfully, the forecast for a strong El Niño to persist through this winter is positively correlated with above-average precipitation for this region. Looking at the precipitation through the end of the week, there will be a significant chunk of the Corn Belt that stays dry, giving way to several workable days. For those regions that will receive rain and storms starting on Tuesday night through Thursday, the longer-term forecast suggests that there will be several days of drier weather that follow this event. These same forecasts suggest that parts of eastern Iowa, eastern Missouri, southern Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio may stay relatively dry for the next 10 days, but we will be watching this forecast very closely for any changes. To wrap up this video, we need to take a brief look at South America, as planting will begin soon there. As the dry season ends, we need to take a look at the soil moisture conditions before the spring rains arrive. The dry season has not been so dry for southern Brazil, as the impact of the changing weather patterns due to El Niño have brought quite a bit of rain here. Mato Grosso, which is one of the states with intensive agriculture, is dry now, but not abnormally so. Once the rains arrive, this region's soil water storage will build. As a reminder, El Niño conditions are positively correlated with yields in Brazil and the pampas of Argentina. One thing to watch closely, though, is too much rain in the southern growing regions. We will update you regularly in the coming months about the crop conditions in South America, as they have a large impact on U.S. grain prices. Well, as always, we at Agrible will bring you the latest and best weather forecast information through our morning farm report, so that you can efficiently plan your operations. We thank you for your attention and hope you look forward to our next weather video update. Thank you.